How to get rich without anyone noticing. 5 financial tricks. What if I told you that the wealthiest people in America are completely invisible, while the people you think are rich are actually broke and showing off to hide their financial desperation? Look, here's something that's going to blow your mind. Every person you see flashing luxury cars, designer clothes, and expensive vacations on social media is probably drowning in debt, while real millionaires drive 10-year-old Toyotas and shop at Costco. In this video, you're going to discover the exact 5 strategies that allow wealthy Americans to build fortunes completely under the radar. You'll learn why disappearing from social media actually accelerates your wealth, how to sacrifice like ancient merchants to guarantee financial freedom, and the secret protection system that shields your dreams from people who unconsciously want to destroy them. By the end, you'll know exactly how to become rich without anyone noticing, until you choose to reveal it. 1. The farmer's patience. I'm going to tell you something that's probably going to sting a little, but you need to hear it. You know why most people never build real wealth? It's not because they're stupid, it's not because they don't have good ideas, and it's definitely not because they don't work hard enough. It's because they give up right before the magic happens. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine 2 farmers at the beginning of planting season. The first farmer, let's call him instant gratification Gary, plants his seeds and checks them every single day. Day 3, nothing. Day 7, still nothing. Day 15, maybe a tiny sprout, but not the abundance he was expecting. By day 30, Gary's frustrated, digs up his seeds to see what's wrong, replants different seeds, then gets discouraged again, and eventually gives up farming altogether. The second farmer, patient Pete, plants his seeds and waters them consistently. Day 3, nothing visible, but he keeps watering. Day 15, tiny sprouts, but he doesn't get excited or discouraged. Day 45, real growth starting. Day 90, small harvest. Year 2, better harvest. Year 5, abundance that makes Gary jealous when he drives by. Here's what Gary never understood and what most Americans never understand about building wealth. The compound effect is invisible for years, then becomes unstoppable. Your first year of investing, boring. Your first business probably breaks even. Your first real estate investment, modest returns that don't seem worth the effort. But here's where it gets crazy. Warren Buffett made 99% of his wealth after age 50. Let that sink in. The richest investor in history was basically broke compared to his later wealth for the first half of his career. Why? Because compound growth starts slow and then goes exponential. Most people quit during the slow part. They see their $500 monthly investment grow to $6,000 after a year and think, this is pointless. I'll never get rich this way. What they don't realize is that this same strategy turned to $50,000 in year 10, $200,000 in year 15, and over $1 million by year 25. The psychological reason people quit is simple. We're wired for immediate feedback. When you post on Instagram, you get likes instantly. When you buy something, you get the dopamine hit immediately. But wealth building works on nature's timeline, not social media's timeline. Here's your reality check. While you're quitting your 3rd business idea this year, someone else is on year 5 of their boring business, quietly building something that will make them a millionaire. While you're jumping between investment strategies, someone else is dollar cost averaging into index funds for the 10th year straight and building serious wealth. The ancient farmers knew something modern Americans forgot. Harvest time comes to those who plant, water, and wait. Not to those who plant, check, doubt, replant, and quit. Wait. The most important part is in the following story about why the sacrifices wealthy people make would shock most Americans who think success should be comfortable. 2. The merchant's sacrifice. Alright, let's get real for a minute. Everyone says they want to be rich, but when I ask people what they're willing to give up to get there, suddenly the conversation gets very quiet. You want the lifestyle, but do you want the life it takes to create that lifestyle? Here's a story that's going to make you uncomfortable. Picture two merchants in ancient times, both starting with the same amount of money, both dreaming of dominating the next trading season. Merchant number one, let's call him Weekend Warrior, hears that the big trading season starts in 6 months. He thinks perfect, plenty of time. So what does he do? Friday nights, he's out at the tavern with friends. Saturday mornings, he's sleeping in. Sunday afternoons, he's relaxing because everyone deserves work-life balance. He shows up to trading season with the same basic goods as everyone else. No special relationships, no deep knowledge of what customers actually want. Merchant number two, sacrifice. Sam hears the same news about the trading season, but his response is completely different. While Weekend Warrior is at the tavern, Sam is studying which goods sold best last season. While Weekend Warrior is sleeping in, Sam is visiting workshops, learning how products are made, and building relationships with craftsmen. While Weekend Warrior is relaxing on Sundays, Sam is traveling to neighboring towns, understanding what people actually need and can't find. When trading season arrives, guess what happens? Weekend Warrior shows up with generic stuff that 30 other merchants are also selling. He makes modest profits, enough to get by, but nothing life-changing. Sam shows up with exactly what customers have been wanting, relationships with the best suppliers and knowledge nobody else has. He doesn't just make money, he dominates. Here's what most Americans don't understand about wealth building. Every wealthy person I know gave up their 20s and 30s so they could own their 40s and beyond. While their friends were binge-watching Netflix, they were learning new skills. While others were going to happy hour, they were building side businesses. While everyone else was taking weekend trips, they were working on projects that would eventually buy them freedom. I'm not saying you need to become a monk, but understand this. Your Friday night Netflix binge is a choice. Your Saturday morning sleep-in is a choice. Your Sunday afternoon me time is a choice. And wealthy people consistently choose differently. The math is brutal but simple. If you spend 20 hours a week building wealth for 10 years, you'll have 10,000 hours of focused effort toward financial freedom. If you spend 20 hours a week watching TV and scrolling social media, you'll have 10,000 hours of nothing that helps your future self. The question isn't whether you'll sacrifice your time, you're already sacrificing it. The question is what you're sacrificing it for. But that's just the surface. What's behind it is what will startle people about why sharing your wealth-building dreams with the wrong people can literally poison your motivation and destroy your chances of success. 3. The wise builder silence. Okay, I need to tell you something that might hurt your feelings, but it could save your financial future. That person you just told about your big money-making idea, there's a good chance they just killed it without you even realizing it. Let me tell you a story that's been passed down for thousands of years. Two builders, both dream of constructing magnificent buildings that will make them wealthy and famous. The first builder, let's call him Tell Everyone. Tom is so excited about his vision that he can't contain himself. He tells his family at dinner, posts about it on social media, and shares his blueprints with anyone who will listen. And what does he hear? That's way too ambitious for someone like you. What if it fails? You'll lose everything. Nobody's ever built anything like that around here. Maybe you should start smaller. Are you sure you know what you're doing? Each comment is like a tiny poison dart. Tom starts second-guessing himself. Maybe they're right. Maybe it is too big. Maybe he should wait. Maybe he's not ready. 6 months later, Tom's grand building exists only in his imagination because the dream was criticized to death. The second builder, Silent Steve, has the exact same vision, but he keeps his mouth shut. He quietly studies architecture, secretly saves money for materials, and discreetly builds relationships with skilled craftsmen who can help him. When people ask what he's up to, he just says, working on some projects. No details, no big announcements, no validation seeking. 2 years later, when Steve's magnificent building is completed and generating serious income, Tom asks him, "Where did this come from? "How did you do this?" Steve smiles and says, "I've been working on it for a while. Here's what I've learned after watching hundreds of people either build wealth or stay broke. The moment you share a dream with someone who doesn't have the vision to see it, you give them permission to shrink your dream down to their comfort level. Most people, even people who love you, are unconsciously threatened by your success. Not because they're evil, but because your growth reminds them of their own stagnation. When you announce you're starting a business, their inner voice says, 'Why aren't I doing that?' And instead of feeling inspired, they feel inadequate. So they protect their ego by convincing you and themselves that your idea won't work." The psychological research on this is devastating. Studies show that simply talking about your goals can give you a premature sense of accomplishment that actually reduces your motivation to achieve them. Your brain gets the dopamine hit from people's reactions and thinks, "Mission accomplished," even though you haven't done the work yet. Wealthy people understand this instinctively. They don't announce their investment strategies. They don't broadcast their business ideas. They don't seek validation for their financial plans. They just quietly execute while everyone else is still talking. Protect your wealth-building dreams.